Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host Sheri and today we are on the family room floor for a very special DIY Wednesday. We're actually not gonna make anything today, but we're gonna chat about making some stuff in the future. So yeah, this video is going to be all about how I get inspired and where my creativity comes from so that you guys can hopefully get inspired and find where your creativity comes from. So if you're down to hear about that, stay tuned. Okay. Joe's behind me. Hi, Joe. Well, I guess now's as good a time as any to tell you we got a new cat. We rescued a cat. His name is Joe. There's his tail. He is still very, very skittish. We've had him for almost about 2 months. He likes me the best, but you can't make any sudden movements around him or he runs away. We wanted to get Joe as a friend for Bob, and Bob hates Joe. You won't see Bob around if Joe's out because I have to keep them in separate rooms. Bob hisses at Joe and Joe is so friendly, like he's darling. I was hoping that they would be friends and they're not. So it's like instead of having 2 cats, I still have 1 cat because I have to keep them separated at all times. Believe me, I know this is not a cat video. They have these like plug-ins that are pheromones that are supposed to calm the cats and make them more friendly to each other. Nope. Oh, and then I also tried basically like weed bites for cats so they'd just be more mellow and relaxed. It worked well for Joe, didn't work for Bob at all. I really do dig Joe. He also might like me because I feed him all the time and he is a little pig. So yeah, that's Joe. Why it needs to go in this video? Well, because you're gonna see a tail because he will not stop rubbing on me. That's enough about Joe. So aside from having 2 separate cats, I do get asked quite often in my DIY video comments how I just think of all the ideas that I think of to do DIYs. 9 times out of 10 when I respond to you guys, it is me saying most of my creativity comes from the fact that I'm cheap as I'll get out. And that's not a lie. I have always been of the mindset that pretty much anything I see, I can make. Now, I would love to learn how to weld. So anything that has metal in it, I really can't make that if it includes welding. And it comes, I think I told you this story before. It definitely comes from my mom. She was single until I was about in the 3rd grade. So I remember not having a lot of money and my mom being resourceful and us doing things. She couldn't afford to pay for people to come and do certain things in the house because she was a single mom raising 2 kids. That kind of carried through even when she did remarry and we did have money, middle class family, we still did things on our own. This is a story I think I've told. She didn't want a shower curtain anymore. She wanted it to be like a sliding glass door. I just always thought like, I'm sure she could pay for someone to come in and put in a glass door, but she didn't. I remember her taking me to the Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever it was, buying a glass door, and me and my mom going in that bathroom and installing a glass door ourselves. She was very like me in that way. Like she wanted to wallpaper and we'd never wallpapered before. And she's like, we're wallpapering, we'll figure it out. We went and bought wallpaper and wallpapered. She and my stepdad also wanted to make a bigger walk-in closet. And they both just were like, how hard could it be? They went and got some wood, 2x4s. Next thing you know, walls and sheetrocking and wallpapering it and everything, and they had a bigger walk-in closet. So I've always been brought up in that way. And I feel like no matter how much money I have, there's just certain things I don't feel are worth paying for or paying someone else to do them for you. I just don't. And plus 2, I enjoy, as you know, doing things myself. A lot of my creativity just comes from the mere fact that I'm cheap. 9 times out of 10, I'll be at a store and I'll see something that's super cute and I'll say, this is really, really cute. But it's $50. Oh, hell no, I can make that. I get inspired to do things out of things I just see around, whether it's that I'm out shopping or that I'm online looking at things. Most of my creativity comes from the fact that I'm cheap and I just don't want to spend money to buy things. Another thing that I get inspired by is my own house and things that I need. need, what is it? I don't need anything in this house. Things that I want, things that are for organization. I'll show you some examples and you'll get where I'm going. When you look around your house, kind of like we talked about on the pallet wood mirror. And I was like, if you just look around your house and you see things that might need a fresh up or a redo, that's where I get inspired a lot. While I do a lot of fun DIYs, things that might not be a necessity, but I just want to do because they're creative and they're cute, and I saw something similar online for hundreds of dollars and I just want to remake something just to see if I can. A lot of my DIY projects stem from things that I need around my house, and again, that I'm too cheap to purchase. I'll show you some examples. So this is a really good example of something that I DIY'd that no one believes me. Number one, this dining room and the sitting room across the way used to be carpeted. I no longer wanted the carpet. And so one day I decided, fuck it, I'm ripping out the carpet. I had no plan as to what the flooring would be here, but I knew I didn't want carpet anymore. So I said, I'm ripping it out, and that will make me do some flooring. So this is how the flooring turned out, and I am gonna tell you what it actually is, and you are gonna die of a heart attack. You can see that wood flooring. I mean, it looks amazing, I'll just say. And you might think, damn, she just bought wood flooring and she laid it herself. That was her DIY. Oh, hell to the no. I did not go buy wood flooring. You wanna know why? You guessed it, because wood flooring is expensive. When I had ripped the carpet out, I was like, what am I gonna do here now? Because it's literally cement. I didn't wanna put carpeting back in. I didn't wanna tile it because tile would be expensive as well. And I just had to believe that there was some sort of option for flooring that was cheaper and that I just hadn't discovered it yet. You know, I was talking to some friends and I'm like, oh my gosh, have you seen like the people that do the flooring out of pennies? I was like, oh my God, I have 2 rooms to do. If we do the square feet of each room, that's gonna be like $1,000 in pennies or something ridiculous. Not to mention the time involved in laying down all the pennies and then like putting epoxy. So I was like, while a cool look, no, not happening. So you guys are gonna die. I know you're on the edge of your seat right now. And I remember I did this, and I tend to do this a lot. I ripped out that carpet right before Thanksgiving or something, and I was supposed to have Thanksgiving. So I was on a time crunch to get some flooring put in there. So I thought to myself, you want hard wood, but how are you gonna achieve that on a really, really cheap budget? And you know what I discovered? Plywood. I know. That floor that I showed you does not look at all like plywood, but it is. Now, it was not an easy project. I mean, it was easy in the sense that it was easy. It was very time consuming. What I did, it just so happens that the thickness where the tile was a 1/4 inch. So I went out and got a bunch of sheets of 4x8 plywood that were a 1/4 inch. And I wanna say they cost me like 14 bucks. I kind of remember all in all spending $200 total, and that was for all my supplies, and that was for 2 rooms. It was hella cheap. I ripped every single 4x8 sheet of plywood down into 8 foot by whatever that is, 6-inch widths. Then I sanded every single piece, edges, rounding some of the edges, just sanding them one by one with my palm sander. Then I stained every single piece. I left some the full 8 foot lengths, and then I cut some in half so I could get that staggered-y look. And then I literally glued them to the floor. That beautiful flooring was super cheap. It's literally really nice because I sanded it super smooth. I walk in there barefoot all the time. People are like, holy shit, I cannot believe this is plywood. That flooring for those 2 rooms in stain, in glue, in wood, in everything. I remember bragging that I did both of those rooms for $100 each. And that simply was because I was cheap and I did not want to spend the money on new flooring when I knew I could make something for way less. Now, I know you guys have heard me talk about this before. This is something I made when all I had to my name was a jigsaw and a palm sander. I needed a shelving unit, and again, I wasn't about to go buy one, So I made this with a jigsaw and a palm sander. And what's really cute, these little doors, I used that chicken wiry stuff that was silver, but I painted it. It's not my best work ever, but these doors I made, they have little hinges on them, and I didn't want you to be able to see the junk that I keep in there, so I took, I wanna say it was a sheet, let's see. Oh yeah, for sure. I took a sheet and I literally just hot glued it to the inside so that you could not see the shit that I have in here. It is a perfect little cubby. Jigsaw and a palm sander, and I made this. Now I'm not even joking. This is plywood, and then I just got some finishing pieces. I painted the whole thing white and then kind of distressed it and sanded it. So, jigsaw and a palm sander, and you can make yourself an entire storage unit for like pennies on the dollar. Those were a couple examples of how I get inspired just by simply going around the house and seeing if there's anything that I need, anything I need for storage, whatever. But a real major way I get inspired is from the internet or from actual stores. I don't even necessarily have to be looking for anything. You know, it's like maybe like Saturday night and my life's so exciting, I'm sitting on the couch and have nothing to do, so I'll peruse the internet. And I'll go to places that A, I don't have here in my town, or B, that I know in my heart of hearts is way too expensive and I would never shop there, no matter how cute of things they might have. There is a very high-end, and I'm sure they have stores around the world, just not in my area. It is called West Elm. The internet and actual stores is how I get a lot of my inspiration for the We Can Make That, as you well know. I'll go into a store, I'll go on the internet, and I'll see something that is completely overpriced, and I know that we can make that. So, for example, West Elm, it's a fine line. Actually, can I remake that thing? And can I remake that thing for cheap enough that it justifies the time that it would take to actually remake it? Or should I just fucking buy the damn thing? One example, I am actually in the middle of DIYing right now. I found on West Elm, I found it in the gardening section, indoor planters. In the planters and pots and stuff, I don't have a fucking kiln. I don't have one of those like pottery wheels. So, I mean, let's be realistic at things that we can actually make. I did find something, and you guys are gonna die. I was perusing planters. Seriously, like they have planters literally for like $180. On sale now for $126. As you're scrolling through here, everything is really expensive, and I wouldn't buy one single thing. I mean, no disrespect to West Elm. Their things are gorgeous. I just feel personally they're a little overpriced. As I'm scrolling along, I'm like, okay, cute, cute, cute. I can't really make any of these things because they're literally ceramic. So whatever, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Oh, here it is, right here. It is their dipped basket planter. The minute I saw this, I knew I could remake this. And then when I saw that they wanted $100 for it, I was like, oh, hell no. That is not happening. I would never in my wildest dreams buy this for $100. So I decided to make it. This one is a larger one. It's called the Dipped Planter Basket in large, and what makes it worth $200 are the two leather strapped handles. Now, you know, I have leather that I could reuse from the frame of my mirror if I really wanted to put leather strapped handles on mine and up the price to $200. But let me just tell you a little something. And I know you're looking at it right now going, I know exactly what she's making that out of. You're gonna die. It's right here. Spoiler alert, the next DIY you're gonna see is this dipped planter basket, and it's getting made out of Dollar Tree Jenga blocks. That's one. I literally went here and I am doing a DIY right now based off of this internet search. Got completely inspired by it, knew I could do it, knew it was gonna be cheap. You guys are gonna die when you see it in real life and how easy it was, how cheap the supplies were. Then, again, it makes you think like, not just West Elm, but anywhere. Where do you guys get off Do you think we're idiots? Because you must think we're idiots. The internet is a great source of inspiration. That's why things like Pinterest are so popular. Oh, here's a good example of something that I recently just did. I want to make like a key holder or something like that, but I don't want just like hooks and keys and whatnot. I wonder what are some ideas for some key holder things out there. So this is another thing. So if you think of something that you need in your house, key holder, bookcase, mirror. Rather than going to a particular website, I scroll through Google Images like nobody's business. Don't even have a website in mind, and then just type in something that you need that you think you might want to make. So wall mounted key holder. Yeah, let's just see what comes up. And I spelled key with 2 Y's. I won't even start scrolling through the internet searches that it suggested. I'm just gonna go right to images. I'm not looking to buy a wall-mounted key holder. I'm just looking for different ideas for neat ones that might be out of the ordinary. And like, these are all cute. Okay, cute. Hooks and shelves. These are neat. And I might pull inspiration from a bunch of different images. Like, ooh, this one's cool how it uses a shelf. This one's cool how it uses a shelf and drawers. And this one's cool that it uses, I don't know, doorknobs as hooks, whatever the case may be. Pull inspiration from several images and combine them all into the one perfect key holder that I can make for super cheap. They'd say, what's that quote they say? Well, I try not to copy anybody unless I'm doing a we can make that for cheap. I shouldn't say, well, I try not to copy anybody because actually I copy a lot of places, Kirkland's. These days, I feel like it's really hard to invent something that no one's ever made. Like when I thought of using plywood as flooring, I thought, I'm a genius. There's no way anybody on the planet has ever used plywood as flooring. And lo and behold, lots of people have used plywood as flooring. Did they use it in exactly the same manner that I did? No, they did not. A lot of people cut the plywood into big giant squares and did it more like giant square tiles. But again, I didn't invent plywood as flooring. I thought that I invented it, but then when I Googled it after the fact, I realized I didn't invent it. I do use the internet. I try not to copy things exactly, but I do draw inspiration. And that quote, impersonation, is that what that quote is? Impersonation is the largest, biggest form of flattery, whatever that quote is. It's okay to get inspired by other people's crafts. It's great. I am a fan of find something and make it your own. You may see something on the internet that you really love. It may not work exactly for you in your space, so tweak it and make it your own. And that really starts opening the doors up for creativity. That's where a lot of my inspiration comes from. That and going window shopping. Usually this is what I do. I kind of make it a habit. Sunday mornings are grocery store day. So I usually head on over to the grocery outlet, but sometimes before I go to the grocery outlet, I will go peruse like the Dollar Tree, or we have this new great store called At Home, not with any intention of buying anything, but simply for the intention of just getting some creative ideas. So yeah, let's get in the car and go window shopping. Okay, so when you have a Sunday to kill, you just gotta go window shop. So right now, I'm at this new store that we have in town that I love, but I think is a little overpriced. And we're gonna go in and see how much inspiration I can pull from At Home. So we are at home, and forever I have wanted giant pots by my entryway, and they have a bunch here. While nice and giant, I mean, it's $90. That's too expensive for me. So let's look at some other ones. Okay, so they don't have very many, but they have this one. Oh my God, $70. This is just a brown plastic cylinder. See, this is where creativity comes in, because I think we could fucking make this. Because I'd like one to be cement. Creativity and inspiration right here at home, because you know why? I'm not willing to spend $70, $80 on a planner that I don't even really like that much. Okay, so you know I'm a huge fan of finding shit on the side of the road. This is the reason why. This chair is super tiny, but it's $300. We could find something on the side of the road and recover it for like 50 bucks. Okay, so remember how we made that light fixture from those Dollar Tree trash cans? This one right here, would be really cool. Even though this is wood, we could just drill a hole right here and then put our light, and then boom. That would be really, really cool, actually. I don't know how much this is. I was hoping it was cheap. But again, it's supposed to be a trash can, but if I turn it upside down, it's a light shade. Okay, so at home is getting my creative juices flowing. You know how I always say, just take the thing apart and what are its elements? This is just a wooden, it's not even that great a wood to be quite honest, it seems a little flimsy. And then it's just fabric covered bins, which you know we've already made fabric covered bins. You're gonna die. Ready? Seriously, we could totally make this scrap wood and some foam core from the Dollar Tree. I'm going with 10 bucks tops. That's all I'm saying. So here is another idea. If you needed some, art piece above your couch, this is $80. But what does it look like to you? Because to me, it looks like a bunch of plastic plates all glued together. There is like a wire frame, but I bet you could do this with wooden dowel rods and glue plastic plates. Literally plastic plates. And they want $80 for it. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so last time I was at home, I saw something very similar to this piece that I'm totally gonna recreate with these strips like this, but in the one I saw before, same price, I wanna say it was $99. It was actually individual strips of what looked to be like old fence board, which we can totally make and which I am going to make, because when I saw it originally, I was like, boom! Creativity juices flying all over the place. So again, just take something, look at it, and think, that's like 20 pieces of fence board cut in a triangle and glued together. Done. I could make that for way less than $99. So even at a store that is known for a little bit lower pricing, I still feel like you can find inspiration and make things for even cheaper. For example, we're at the Big Lots right now, and this super cute Halloween decoration is $20. But again, if you take apart its parts, I feel like we could make exactly this from Dollar Tree items. And I'm thinking that we're going to. So remember this, because we are going to recreate this exact thing. And I'm gonna say, maybe we can cut it in half. And saving $10 means we get to make two for the price of one and put them on either side of our fireplace. What do you think about that? Okay, so I'm at the Dollar Tree to find more inspiration, and I found these Halloween ornaments, which I love. And first thing I thought of was a Halloween wreath from a door. So I am going to grab a bunch of them and then go and grab one of those wreath forms and make myself a wonderful, spooky Halloween wreath. Inspiration every day. Wouldn't you know it, my Dollar Tree is out of the giant wire wreaths, so looks like I'll have to go to another Dollar Tree. Oh well, that's the price you pay for being so damn creative. So now I'm at the Lowe's because I needed to pick up some white paint. So I figured while I'm here, I might as well look for some inspiration for things that I might need around the house. Davis comes home and throws his keys on the counter. I hate that. So I saw this, which I saw it hanging up on one of these things, and I thought, oh, this is really cute. So I found it. It's $30. And here's the funny part. It's so expensive. And this one is hell's a dusty. And I think it's because a good majority of the smart people out there were like, this is literally like a piece of scrap wood painted black, some hooks, and these cute little like library, filing what's-its-faces that you can put little names in. And they were all, hell no, I'm not gonna buy that for $30 when I can probably make it for $10. I think this is darling and it's $30, but I'm too cheap to spend the $30 on it. So I'm gonna make it. I'm in the hook section at the Lowe's, and sometimes their hooks are expensive, but sometimes you can find a deal. These are $1.63. So if you're making like a keyboard thing that we saw over there, you could grab these, or nothing says you have to use a hook to hang your keys on. So for example, this is like a drawer pull. It's $1.30 and it's super cute. I can hang my keys on this too. Or you wanted to go real she-she, these are kind of expensive, but you do get 4 of them for $16, and they're like crystal balls you can hang your keys on. So depending on your style, just think outside the box. Anything you can make into something to put your keys on. That's all I'm saying. Now, I'm at the grocery outlet and I see these darling pumpkins. They're $7.99. I feel like we could make these. Tin, aluminum. I think you can get sheets of these. Well, I know you can. I feel like this would be something we can make for cheaper than $7.99. So cute, right? So you see, inspiration and creativity are everywhere you look. I'd like you guys to believe that I'm some wonderful grand savant when it comes to DIY Wednesday videos, but that's not really the case. I am just a person who is cheap. That's really what it is. I mean, you definitely have to like getting your hands dirty. You definitely have to like the challenge of making or creating something yourself, which I totally enjoy. There is nothing I would rather be doing. Really, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Maybe laying by the pool and drinking vodka lemonades, but other than that, I really do like making stuff. You know, I've soapboxed it enough. I think there's nothing better. The feeling that you get when you make something with your own two hands is amazing, in my opinion. I was kind of raised that way, and I'm trying to teach I was just gonna say, I'm trying to teach Davis that too. And speaking of, I have a funny story to tell you. He came home and told me, he's like, Mom, I totally pulled a U. And I was like, what are you talking about? They were in a neighborhood where it was like the pick up your trash days. And he was telling his friends, he's like, you guys, we are not letting this. He was recreating the story for me. He's like, we are not letting any of this. We're getting out and we're gonna look through because there are some good finds in this trash. Like, I will tell you. And so it was so funny because he was like, we found Dylan like a computer desk that was perfectly good. We found like someone else, like something, and all it needs is a coat of paint. So I am trying to show Davis that you don't necessarily have to buy everything that you need. You can make it, you can repurpose something, and it doesn't take much. It takes just the vision of seeing something in a new light and seeing that thing in your space and transforming it to fit your space. It doesn't really take much. I'm no inventor of crafts. I just enjoy making things myself. Therefore, I find ways to make things myself. That's all I do. So you guys can do it too, because now I just gave you all my creative secrets, and they're not really secrets at all. Find something that you like that you're not willing to pay the price for, and then make it yourself. Or find something that you need around your house, be it a storage cabinet, a key holder, clock, whatever it is, and make it yourself. So to answer your guys' questions in the comments that you leave on my DIY Wednesday videos, how am I so creative and where do I get my inspiration? Well, there you have it. I just told you. Do I have kind of an artistic kind of a mind? Maybe so. But I think a lot of that artistic and creativity comes from, like I said a million times, the desire to not spend money on things I don't need to spend money on. Things that I could totally make myself. Hell no, I'm not gonna spend $100 on that. So how can I remake it for cheap and remake it better? And now, with all that said, I gotta get to DIYing, and you should too. So start looking at the internet. No, just watch my YouTube videos. There you go, that's all the creativity and inspiration you need. This is Real Life DIY Wednesday. So I do wanna say, thank you guys so much for watching DIY Wednesday videos and for commenting on them and for asking me those questions. Even though I'm probably totally behind on my replies to your comments again, but I will tell you that it really is inspiring, and it really does mean a lot to me that you guys, A, take the time to watch the videos, and B, take the time to sit down and write a comment on those videos. I love it so much. So if you loved this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all of the DIY Wednesday videos I push out, which is every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Be sure to share this video with your family and friends. And as always, thanks for hanging out.